can't see what the time is.
Oh yeah, you can't. Can you? Windows in there.
It doesn't let you drag it.
11:04.
Perfect.
Go ahead and proceed with the agenda. Call the meeting to order. Roll call. We have Honorable Bruce Adams and Honorable Kenneth Maryboy on board Zoom, and I believe Mr. Maryboy is on the phone. So we'll go ahead. We do have a quorum. There's a provision here for invocation. Any volunteer? Audience? Non-audience? Sir?
For invocation.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Our Heavenly Father, we're grateful that we can assemble here today to conduct public business. We ask that those who will be speaking and presenting and doing the work will be able to do so in an orderly and civil fashion. We ask you to bless us with thy spirit to know and do and say those things which will be for the benefit of all the people. And we say these things in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you for that.
Amen.
Yeah, I'm here, Matt. I'm here.
No,
That's a delay.
no.
Going down, and we can read the agenda or
Yeah, let's read the agenda. We left that off of
reading
there.
the agenda, which is not provided there, but we will go ahead and read the listing. Mr. McDonald, can you?
Okay, on the agenda today. Under your consent agenda items, you have the approval of San Juan County Work Session Commission minutes for September 21st, 2021 meetings. You've got the approval of check registers for September 17th through October 15th. Approval of all the small purchases from September 16th, 2021 through October 14th, 2021. Item number 4, consideration of reappointment of Casey Beach to the San Juan Health Service District Board for an additional 4-year term. Item 5, consideration and approval of the 2019-2023 EPIC San Juan Health Department Amendment 8 contract between the Utah Department of Health and San Juan County. Number 6, consideration and approval of local health department WIC programs, San Juan County Amendment number 3 contract between the Utah Department of Health and San Juan County. Number 7, consideration and approval of the maternal and child health fiscal year 2021. The Health Department Amendment number 3 contract between the Utah Department of Health and San Juan County. Item number 8, consideration and approval of San Juan County Health Department tobacco contract fiscal year 21 through fiscal year 25. Amendment number 3 contract between the Utah Department of Health and San Juan County. Under the recognitions, presentations, and informational items, you have an update and discussion from William Cooper, contracted vendor on the San Juan County redistricting effort for the county and school board districts. Under business action items, item number 10, ratification of a letter of support for the grant proposal for Southeastern Utah Economic Development has submitted to the Economic Development Administration for the Build Back Better Regional Challenge. This brief presentation will be given by Elaine. Item number 11, consideration and approval of the Blankenville Subdivision Amendment number 4. This will be presented by Scott. Item number 12, consideration and approval of the Lonesome Left Estates Amendment number 4. Again, presented by Scott. Item number 13, consideration and approval of the U.S. Forest Service draft plan comments. It's a letter that we'll provide to the Forest Service that will be presented by Nick. Item number 14, consideration and approval of the San Juan Public Health Department fiscal year 22 preventative block grant contract between the Utah Department of Health and San Juan County. That'll be presented by our director, Dr. Grant Sonata. Item number 15, consideration and approval of the appointment of the new San Juan County Public Health Board members. Again, same presentation by Dr. Sonata. On item number 16, the resolution of the San Juan County Board of Commissioners expressing our support for the Mexican Water chapter within the Navajo Nation of San Juan County and their efforts to obtain and implement 5G or 4G LTE network solutions. That'll be Commissioner Mary Boy. Item number 17, a resolution supporting the United States Senate Bill S-1535 titled America's Red Rock Wilderness Act and encourage San Juan County's representatives to endorse and pass this bill. That'll be Commissioner Mary Boy as well. Item 18, consideration and approval of a letter to Secretary Han for working to make Bears Ears National Monument whole again. Commissioner Gray Eyes has that one. Consideration and approval of a letter to President Biden for making Bears Ears National Monument whole again. Again, Commissioner Grayas has that one. Item number 20, ratification of the Westwater Fiscal Agent Authorization Letter to the State of Utah Division of Water Rights. Again, with item 21 is consideration and approval of the $40,000 principal forgiveness agreement for the Westwater infrastructure design with the State of Utah Division of Drinking Water for the Navajo Tribal Utility Authority. I'll present both of those final items. Then you have commission reports. We had on here also an executive session, but because we only have one commissioner here present, we will not be having the executive session today. That, commissioners, is your agenda for today.
Okay. You have heard the reading of the proposed agenda. What's the commission's position?
Motion to approve the agenda as read into the record.
I'll second.
Motion, Mr. Adams, second. Any further discussion? Oh, the motion says as read, so is there any comment, or if there's none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye also. Opposed, nay? None? So motion passed with 3 in favor and 0 opposed. We'll go ahead and go to the public comment. Do we have any voices waiting?
Okay, let's see. We have several members in the audience wishing to make a public comment. Just as a reminder, public comments will be 3 minutes is what you're allowed as far as a time frame for public comments. As you're making your public comments, please be courteous and kind in those comments. Also, if somebody's mentioned the same thing in an effort to avoid duplicate public comments, if you have a party that wants to represent you, then you could do that as well instead of making multiple same comments. But either way, we'll hear you. We will start with members of the audience. First, we'll go down the list of all those that you've signed in. If you haven't had a chance to sign in yet, we can definitely get you signed in to make those comments. If you're online, please raise your hand and we'll get to you accordingly as we get through everybody. So I'll go ahead and call out the names. The first on the list, we have Kelly Green from LaSalle, Also, just please state your name and where you're located here in the county as an opening.
My name is Kelly Green. I live in LaSalle. First of all, I have a few comments. I'd like to thank commissioners for their public service, those who are here today. Also, I'd like to thank the county road department for a repair that was done on a road over there by the gas plant in Lisbon Valley. The road had slept on, and you'd go around the corner and there was quite a dip, and you'd go for a good ride. And I appreciate what they were able to make that repair. Of primary concern to me today are resolutions that are being made regarding the Red Rock Wilderness Act. I was kind of disappointed that that was going to be presented because there have been no public comment or input, no hearings or anything about that. There's a potential of 8.5 million acres at stake, and the impact that it could have economically on our county would be huge. And I would move and hope that the commissioners would maybe table that decision and hold some public hearings in different places of the county to get the people's input on that, further input. Also, I wanted to come out as opposing the expansion of the Bears Ears Monument. And, that's a pretty heated argument in our county, very divisive. And I don't know as if making that kind of resolution is going to help heal things in our county. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. The next one on here, let me restart mine. I'm trying to, not a very good multitasker. So Brett Barton, you're up next. There, Brett.
Good morning. My name is Britt Barton. That's Britt. I'm from Blanding, Utah. And my comments are directed to Commissioner Maryboy. I'd love to look you in the eye and give you these comments, but since you haven't had the guts to be to this meeting for about a year and a half, I guess I'll just read from my prepared text. So we need to get three things perfectly clear. Number one, my time is one hell of a lot more valuable than yours. Number two, I'm tired of donating a portion of my valuable time as a chairman of the San Juan County Economic Development Board, trying to promote the economy of this great county, while you, who have ultimate responsibility for financial well-being of this county, continue to promote ridiculous ideas like America's Red Rock Wilderness Act, which will destroy even more of our economic tax base. My term of service is up in a couple months. And from this point on, I'll make it one of my top priorities to make sure this is your last term as a commissioner. I don't know who's pulling your strings. Probably some hotshot attorney in Moab or Durango. But I'm going to find out who they are, and they are going to have a problem. Number three, do you think the descendants of the founders of this county who carved a road through solid rock to bring their families here, one of whom was my great-great-grandfather, if you think they, along with the descendants of the Native American population who have lived off this land for centuries, if you think we are going to allow the likes of you and your puppet masters to destroy that legacy and culture, good luck. In conclusion, call on all citizens of San Juan County to do whatever it takes to make sure this worthless excuse of a San Juan County Commissioner is never reelected. Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Going down the list, we've got George Rice.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is George Rice. I'm a resident of Monticello, and I'm also a Monticello City Council member. I come to you today. I don't have written notes. I speak from the heart, and I'd ask of you to bear and keep an open mind with what I'm asking you today, and I think a lot of the constituents that you have here in the county have. And I would like, a lot of times we feel like public officials come to these things with a preconceived notion of what they want to do, that their minds are already made up of how they want to vote. And I would ask you to not do that today with a couple of issues, and that the number one is the Red Rock Initiative, and the number two is the willingness to let the monument be expanded. I also serve on the San Juan County Transportation District. That district is very low funded as of right now. That money came from revenues that the county received from mining and oil leases. Those things are on an all-time low at this point. We have very little money to do anything in the transportation district for the county. What I'm asking the commissioners today, what I'm asking you is to consider the people that vote for you, the people that you represent. What are the things that they need to be successful in their lives and to be happy here in San Juan County? Infrastructure I think is something that really comes to mind. We need good quality roads. We need access to good, clean drinking water, electricity. We need power, and also internet is vital in today's economics, and how all our people, and especially the people in San Juan County, survive and thrive in this county. There's a lot of areas in the county that don't have the access to those things. My position, and my plea to you today is that these things like the Red Rock, the Red Rock Coalition and the Bears Ears, they do not provide the money that funds the things, the utilities, the roads and these other utilities that we need. I would ask that you consider this when you're making your decision. Think about the utilities, think about where our economic, so far as that I'm aware of, I'm not aware of any money that's coming from having the Bears Ears here. Enough money to support our utilities, the infrastructure that our residents need. I would ask that you consider that and take that very, very important consideration. Are these things like this Red Rock, I don't even, if coalition or Red Rock proposition, I'm not even sure of the proper term of it. I just heard about it last night. But I don't think things like that and the Bears Ears will provide the economic stability that our county residents need. And I ask you, please consider it. Please don't go into this with a closed mind. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, George. Okay, the next one on here, we've got Doug Allen.
Hello, I'm Doug Allen from Monticello City, the city of Monticello, former mayor. I too would like to address a couple of issues. One is I see that there's a discussion on the redistricting effort from San Juan County. And part of that address I'd like to say is I think it's time that this county moves to open county commission seats. The idea that one group has more of a disadvantage than the other, I think, is a false narrative. The second is you're all elected to represent San Juan County as a whole. I look at this resolution for the Red Rock Wilderness that Commissioner Maryboy's proposed, and it has the Navajo Nation, Beklapato chapter, Tisnaspot chapter, Maxon Water chapter, Navajo Mountain chapter, Ojado chapter, and Red Mesa chapter. Some of those, I mean, do they all represent? I know most of those are San Juan County chapters, but I'm not so sure that some of those others have anything to do with San Juan County. What I don't see is letters of support or
from Monticello City, Blanding City, LaSalle area, Eastland. I don't see any letters of support for there. I want to remind you, at the last presidential election last year, if there was one issue that was big in San Juan County, very big, that got the support out, it was the Bears Ears resolution. Having said that, guess who won the presidency in San Juan County? Donald J. Trump with 51.4% of the votes. Biden got 45.3% of the votes. All others was 3.4% or 3.3. That indicates to me it's not Navajo versus Anglo. It is conservatives versus environmentalism. And environmentalism has taken over this county through the commissioners that keep on putting things like this at the forefront. This Red Rock Wilderness thing was a resurrected dinosaur from the 1970s. It needs to be tabled.
Thanks, Doug. Let's see. Yep. Councilmember Skinner is next up.
Good morning. My name is Ron Skinner. I'm on the city council in Monticello. And I have to think of a term, we the people. And I would hope that the commissioners would keep an open mind to all the matters that have been talked about. When I was elected to the council, I got around to the residents of Monticello, and we visited as a whole, we the people again. And so last night when I heard about the Red Rock resolution, I'm not a rock climber, I'm a little bit old for that, but I have got out and met with numerous people from Montana, Wyoming, state of Washington, Colorado, who come to this county for the enjoyment of this county. And they spend a lot of money here, and it's an economic thing. I kept their names and numbers, so I called a few of them. And it's too bad they couldn't be here today to talk about this. I look at the Bears Ears. I'm not a native from San Juan County, but we moved here 8 years ago, and we enjoy it here. We enjoy going up on the mountain and enjoying picking up the garbage of people that have came through that thrown it out. But we enjoy visiting with people up there and getting to know people from other states. And even here, we go up and visit with a lot of people. I wish that we could keep an open mind and try to work together more on satisfying the Red Rock resolution and the Bears Ears. I believe that we could work together as our governor has tried to work and find a solution where we don't have to look at people that are not taxpayers of San Juan County or even live in San Juan County. There's some great people here, whether they live in Monticello, Blanding, out on the reservation. I know that Monticello, as a city council, passed a resolution to send to the president on our thoughts on expanding the Bears Ears, and it was against that. I hope it just wasn't thrown in file 13. I think that we could work together. I think that, and I'm asking for all the commissioners to have an open mind in this. Think about what it would do to our county if these resolutions were passed. It's a great place to live. And again, I ask, please, commissioners, think about this. Maybe form a committee to look into this before we do anything. Thank you.
Thanks. Councilwoman Henderson, you're up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Kim Henderson. I was born and raised in Monticello. Live here raised my kids here. I also serve on the city council here in Monticello. I appreciate the opportunity to comment on a couple of the agenda items. First, I would like to comment on the county redistricting. I've recently had the opportunity to attend public comment for the state redistricting. On both occasions, the state and legislative committees have not only allowed but encouraged and responded to public comment. It was obvious that they truly care about what the public has to say. I find the county redistricting process very concerning in comparison. The commission, in a 2-to-1 vote, voted against forming any sort of a redistricting commission or committee. There has been no public meetings to explain the county redistricting process or to allow public comment. There has not been any information or maps to educate the public. This has been a huge misjustice for the citizens of San Juan County. The county would do good to follow the state's example on this process and hear public comment. Second, I would like to comment on the resolutions for letters of thanks to the expansion of the Bears Ears. There has been a large amount of local opposition on the expansion of Bears Ears. As commissioners, you were elected to represent the constituents all the constituents and to do right for the county. Since the original designation, the increase in vandalism and destruction has been devastating. The management of the current boundaries is highly inadequate already. The increase will only further exploit and damage an already fragile area. Anyone that truly cares about the Bears Ears areas know this to be the facts. The resolution for these letters do not encourage protection of the land. These letters do not represent the constituents, and these letters are very possibly irresponsible. Thank you.
Okay, the next one we had on here is Grant. Okay, all right. Let's see. So let's go now online. First one up at the top, I've got Steph Watcha with your hand raised. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Good morning. Thank you. And good morning, commissioners. Thank you for your work. I'm a former resident of Bluff, and I'd like to comment on the 2 options for letters of support for the Monte LaSalle Forest Revision Plan. I'd like to support the letter that supports the conservation alternative. The conservation alternative has been developed over the course of a number of years and pays attention to 2 particular things that are not represented in other forest plans. One is climate change, and the other is representation of traditional values and indigenous values woven throughout the plan, which has been, I think, updated since the last commissioner review. And so I hope that that is to the commission's approval. So that, yeah, I encourage you. Climate change is going to challenge. It's challenging the waters, and it will be drying up the springs, and it's important to consider that and good science in any revision plan. So thank you.
Okay, thanks. So Simone, looks like you are next.
Hi, my name's Simone Griffin. I was born and raised in San Juan County. I am the policy director for Blue Ribbon Coalition. We have members in all 50 states. We have many members within San Juan County as well. I just want to comment on several things. So first, the resolution for the letter for Bears Ears. Currently, there is an open comment period through the BLM regarding the House on Fire ruin, because they have seen such an increase of visitation. And if they're already seeing issues and not able to properly manage the increase of visitation, then increasing the monument boundaries and sending a vote of thanks to our president is not mitigating any negative impacts. In fact, it's only going to create more problems in the future. So I would encourage the county commission to table that. Also, the Red Rock Wilderness Act. So wilderness is defined as 5,000 consecutive acres of roadless area. When President Biden first came into office, he issued an executive order on advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through the federal government. Underserved communities include Native Americans, and it also includes those with disabilities. Roadless areas discriminate against those people. There are many elders, there are many people within San Juan County that if now we have all this wilderness, they will not be able to access those sacred sites to them, those areas of significant importance to them. And so I would encourage the County Commission to also table that and to not discriminate against those people who would like to be able to access those areas that they have been fighting for. The Manti-La National Forest Plan is also similar. I've been on all those meetings and reviewed that plan, and it hasn't been updated since 1986, I believe. They're looking at wilderness areas within that as well, and decreasing access for those underserved populations is discriminatory. And I would hope that the County Commission would really think about those things before they pass any of these resolutions so that they don't discriminate and that they can truly protect these lands that are sacred to so many people in San Juan County. Thank you.
Thank you, Simone. Okay, the next one, I've got Monet Clark. Go ahead, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Okay, let's see. Am I unmuted?
You are.
Okay, great. Good morning, commissioners. Thank you so much for serving in the capacity you do. I appreciate the civil discourse this morning, not but one person. And I think that person should have been stopped from Mr. Barton. He went a little too far. Anyway, I want to comment about item number 6, which is redistricting of the county. And I would ask also, along with Kim Henderson, that there be some town hall meeting regarding this. We need to see some maps and we need conversation, and hopefully we need some cooperation. As Mr. Skinner from Monticello City Council mentioned, I agree with him. We need to work together on all these issues. Our problem is that we need an expert to help us. We need a mediation specialist, and I've long felt this. So I ask that you consider hiring someone, even having a position to help us with these things. I support the smaller or the shorter letter for the Manti-La Forest Service Plan, and that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next one on here, all I have listed is Galaxy A51 with your hand up. Please state your name and where you're located in the county.
Yes, this is Marjorie Hahn. I apologize for the quality of my voice. I was recently hurt in a horse accident, and I'm at home recuperating, so I'm in a weakened state, so please forgive me. I live in LaSalle, up in the north end of the county, and I really appreciate you taking public comments at this hearing. I have some deep concerns about 3 of the resolutions. The first being the support of the Red Rock Wilderness Act, and the second, the 2 resolutions thanking certain officials in the Biden administration for really enlarging the Bears Ears. None of these 3 resolutions have any kind of widespread local support. The support for these resolutions comes from NGOs. It comes from individuals and groups. most of whom do not live in San Juan County. They do not have economic interests in San Juan County unless it is related to the Bears Ears and the potential for making money off of that. They do not have roots in San Juan County. And the thing that is so troubling to me is that these resolutions are not written for the people of San Juan County. They are not written in our behalf. They are not written with our support. They are not written with our future in mind. And in just the last few years, we have seen what has happened with the increased tourism to the Bears Ears area, even with the smaller monuments. And we've seen that that has been detrimental to the things that we all want to protect, the cultural antiquities, the land, these beautiful natural formations. The approach that the administration is taking, the Biden administration, the Obama administration, is detrimental to the things that we value. As for the Red Rock Wilderness Act, it does not have local support within San Juan County except for certain islands of groups, but there is not large, widespread local support from the communities. There's no support in LaSalle. Monticello, Blanding, Bluff has a little support, but our communities are not behind this. And I know a little bit about SUA and the background of this. When they rolled out their most recent plan, which is nearly 10 million acres in the state of Utah to be put into wilderness, they lost a great deal of support from the moderates in their grassroots support network. And that is because this is not a reasonable, it is not a reasonable proposition. We don't need more wilderness area. We need responsible management of those areas that are now currently under federal control, which is roughly 72% of the state and even a greater percentage of the county. I ask you as a constituent, as a resident of San Juan County, as someone who cares deeply about the land, our resources, and the people, that you reconsider this and first listen to the voice of the people who live here, who depend on these resources and lands to make a living and to feed families. Thank you.
Thanks, Marjorie. Okay, I'm not seeing any other hands raised for public comments. Is there any other San Juan County residents on here who would like to make a public comment? Go ahead and unmute yourself. Okay, commissioners, I'm not seeing anyone else wishing to give a public comment. Turn it back to you, Commissioner Reyes.
Thank you. Thank you for your public comments. We'll go ahead and proceed with the consent agenda items.
I'll make a motion to approve those items on the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion or? There's none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye also. Opposed by nay? Hear none. Motion passes. 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Next.
Okay, under conditions, recognitions, presentations, and informational items, we have an update and discussion from William Cooper on the San Juan County redistricting effort for the county and the school board districts. So we should have William online. Are you still there, William? He was having trouble a minute ago.
I'm sorry, I was muted.
Okay, there you go.
And I've also apparently lost video, not that it really matters that much, but I will get the video going. How's that? Nice to see everyone today. I love San Juan County. I regrettably don't get there very often because I live in Virginia, but to me, Monument Valley and Canyonlands and really just the incredible vastness of San Juan is just beauty to behold. And I'm honored to be involved in helping redistrict or reapportion the commission districts and school districts following the 2020 census. Yeah, as you know, their population has been very stable in San Juan County since 2010. I think maybe the overall population dropped by a couple of hundred people, but people did sort of move around in the county. Blanding has grown by a couple hundred people, and the area up around Spanish Valley has grown. So the net impact of that is that the commission plan is slightly, very slightly over what is normally the rule of thumb of an overall deviation from perfect ideal district size, so that District 2 is overpopulated by a couple of percentage points, and the other two districts are slightly underpopulated, but still within plus or minus 5%. So the commission itself could be redistricted with just maybe shifted a few blocks around in Blanding. But that's my own reaction, and I really would want to hear from everybody else about what you think needs to be done. But it would be very easy to resolve the commission with just shifting some blocks around in Blanding. The school board is a little bit more out of proportion, you might say. District 5 is overpopulated by 10%, and District 4 is underpopulated by 5%. So those districts would need to be realigned. Again, you could sort of do that by just focusing on Blanding. The trick then would be to sort of overlay the district lines so that you don't have to do many changes with respect to the precincts. But having said all of that, the commission is in a position always in any place, whether it's San Juan County or San Diego, to make up their own mind about how they want the lines changed. And you can either do just sort of what's called a least changed plan, like I'm suggesting, or you could do a more dramatic overhaul, depending upon what people prefer. So I'm mainly just here today to kind of listen to ideas, and maybe I can pipe in with some thoughts if someone has a question or something. I think most of you realize that I was involved in the redistricting lawsuit back in the mid-2010s. And so I have some familiarity, a lot of familiarity with the overall demographics of the county, particularly since things haven't changed that much since I was last there. Briefly about this time 2 years ago in 2019, I stopped in and did a little hiking in Canyonlands. So fire away with questions. Maybe I can take some questions or suggestions if you don't have any questions.
Yes, Gray Eyes, Mr. Cooper, as you probably heard over the public comment that there hasn't been any schedule of public hearing on the redistricting. The other thing is the mapping. What does it look like as of today? Thank you.
What does the mapping look like?
Yeah.
Well, I've experimented a little bit with a plan that basically, as I was just indicating, just moves a few blocks around in Blanding, because you can really resolve the deviation issue with respect to District 2 being slightly overpopulated by just shifting some blocks in Blanding. and I would assume that the first order would be to take care of the commission lines and then to take care of school board, right?
Yes.
So one possibility would be for me to come back at the next meeting with a plan for the county commission, and then also maybe a plan for the school board that we could then discuss this and see how that lines up with what you're thinking.
Yeah. As far as time is concerned, I would like to speed up the process and receive more information on how we can schedule those public hearings and also presentation of your proposed mapping, rather than looking at, I believe it's January 2022 that we need to finalize before January 1st, 2022, that we need to finalize those plans.
And that's both plans, both school board and county commission.
Right.
Well, I can expedite the plan drawing process and actually, I could maybe email you some PDFs with a possible plan for both the school board and the commission, maybe a couple of alternatives. I could do that just within the next, within the next week at the latest. And then maybe you could take a look at it, to look at the plans, and then have some ideas about how you might want to change things, or whether that would be acceptable as I've drawn them. I mean, really, there's no need to make any dramatic changes. As I say, I sort of think the best idea is just to focus on shifting lines around a little bit and blanding. For one thing, that's the easiest place to get in contact with voters to let them know they've moved into another district is probably in blanding. I'm not mentioning Monticello because there's just really no reason to make any changes up there. It's just in the south, and I think that most of the changes could be made in blanding.
Good.
But if you prefer, if you like, Commissioner Gray, I could go ahead and produce a plan or two for commission and school board, and you can take a look, and then we can discuss things further in an open meeting, or I'm not sure how that's handled exactly, but certainly plans can be produced very quickly on my end.
Okay. Well, we have to, the final consideration would have to be made before December, within December, adopting those plans. Mm-hmm. Or even earlier.
Well, that's fine. I mean, I'm going to certainly prioritize this. So I'm prepared to get you plans as soon as this weekend for both the school board and the commission, if you like. I will do a whole bunch of plans, but I'll do a couple just so we have something to begin with. And then you can go ahead and make suggestions about how you might want to see the lines change from that. One question I have that I want to just clarify is I was having a little bit of trouble identifying where Commissioner Mary Boy lives. I used the Google code, but it didn't really send me to his address. I think is in Bluff or maybe near Bluff, and it sent me more towards the town that I can't really pronounce, White Mesa. It's got a different name.
It's White Rocks.
Pardon?
White Rock Community.
White, yeah. Oh, well. So that's where that's Commissioner Mary Boyd chiming in there.
Yes.
Yes.
White Rocks Community. So is that like just a little bit outside of Bluff?
It's about
10 miles.
I'd say about 5-6 miles south of Bluff.
Cross the bridge.
Okay, all right. Well, that's basically all I need. I mean, you're obviously you're sort of in maybe the Mexican water precinct.
The chapter.
Yeah.
Or chapter, I'm
It's
sorry.
within the Navajo housing subdivision.
Okay. But 5 miles south of Bluff, in the Navajo subdivision. So that clarifies it, because I just wasn't 100% sure whether you were sort of north or south of Bluff. For some reason, I wasn't able to really get a good location. Maybe I didn't get the number right or something. But you know, the reality is District 2, the commission District 2 really doesn't need to change. But it has to change just a little bit. It has to give up just a little bit of population. So some of that could be shifted, like I'm thinking, maybe just in Blanding or around Blanding. But you also could do things like maybe shift White Mesa. I think White Mesa is in District 2. So that, you know, that's one area that doesn't have a lot of population that maybe could be shifted around. But I think the easiest thing probably for me to do is just to prepare a couple of plans, looking at it from different angles, and get your reaction, and maybe get them to you this weekend if you're in a hurry.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Maryboy.
Mr. Chair, is it all possible to invite Mr. Cooper again this upcoming commission meeting, and maybe we can sit down and discuss the map that he has and the plans that he already has?
Absolutely. We'll put them on the agenda.
Okay. Yeah, that's possible.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the report. That does help a lot. I think people are kind of eager to find out what's going on and what's being said. But overall, thank you, Mr. Cooper. I really do appreciate this share with the community of San Juan County, Utah Navajos to understand at the chapters. So I appreciate this.
Well, thank you. And so let me make sure I understand things. Then it would be appropriate for me to go ahead and produce a couple of draft plans here in the next few days?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Adams.
Yeah, I think, Mr. Cooper, you need to understand there is also a large Anglo community is very concerned about the same thing that Commissioner Maryboy was talking about with the Native American people. I think it's a concern that's shared by everybody in the county. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't exactly, I may have missed part of the conversation. I mean, I understood what you said, but I may have missed what Commissioner Maryboy had spoken about when I was offline there. I'm not sure about that.
Well, it was
I understand what you mean.
It's my understanding that Commissioner Maryboy felt that the Native American community was very concerned and wanted more background and knowledge about redistricting and the maps and so forth. I'm just telling you that's a concern of everybody in the county.
Right. Okay. I've got you there. Yeah.
Any further question or comments?
Well, I just had the one question. I will then prepare a couple of maps with data, and I guess just send them to Mr. McDonald, who in turn would distribute it to the commissioners in the next several days.
It would.
That'd be good.
I would like to have it sent directly to the commissioners so we can download and share it with our local community.
So I should send them to you guys directly, to you commissioners directly, or to Mr. McDonald, or both? Probably both, right?
Yeah, right.
And I can also, if you would like me to, I can put these maps into a Google map where you could literally go on and zoom around and see the maps in great detail, if that would help.
Absolutely.
You would need to use, you'd need to run it off of your cell phone or off of a computer. It's not a paper map, but that might be something you would be interested in trying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
That
You
would
can
be
do
great.
address searches and that sort of thing. It's back in 2010 you couldn't do that very easily with a Google map, but now I can produce a map that people can go online and take a look at it and do address searches and you can even kind of see where you are if you're driving around. Because if you're on a cell phone, you're a little blue dot as you're driving along the district lines. But like I say, there may be, in some ways, very little need to change things a lot, just because the population's not totally out of balance, particularly with respect to the commission plan. But I'll do one that sort of changes things in Blanding, one commission plan, and maybe another that shifts a little bit of population down on the reservation, but it wouldn't make much of a change with the lines. My understanding probably is that the preference might be to try to keep all the chapters in the same commission districts, correct?
Yes,
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Maryboy.
Mr. Chair, so is Mr. Cooper confirming that he will be attending the next commission meeting to discuss this particular item?
Yes.
Yes. Is that going to be an online session?
Yes, we'll have it online as well as
Yeah.
in person.
Yeah, I can attend any meeting at any time online very easily. So just pick the time and we can spend as long as you want. If we need to work for 3 or 4 hours over online, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and look forward to your next detailed presentation on what would it be?
The next commission meeting is the
Next
1st of
commission
November.
meeting?
What is that? November 2nd, 3rd?
Okay, and between now and then, though, I'm going to get you some draft plans, right?
Okay.
So November 2nd is our schedule.
Immediately, we need those proposed plan. Then again, an update on November
2nd is when we're scheduled to do that. There's conflict. There's elections that day as well. So we're either going to have to work on staffing issues and volunteers in the clerk auditor's office.
So
if we
the
have
3rd?
the clerk auditor, or we can postpone and go Wednesday, the 3rd, after the day of elections. With the municipal elections, we want to keep our staff open for that. And so I'll get with you on an appropriate date, Mr. Cooper.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm flexible and would prioritize this over anything else.
Yeah. So probably, most likely it'd be on the 3rd rather than the 2nd. As I learned also, and I know it's November 2nd is election day. A lot of people will be out voting. So with that in mind, we'll go ahead and Mr. McDonald will contact you again. And
Excellent.
thank you
And
very
between-
much for your update, Mr. Cooper.
Thank you. And between now and then, I will get you some new plans that I'll send to Mr. McDonald, or the initial plans, no later than this coming Monday, which would be the 25th or so.
Yeah. Monday is the 25th, yeah.
Yes. So I will get them to Mac Monday at the latest.
Perfect. We can post those online on our website as well, so everybody has access to those.
Yes, these will be PDFs initially.
Perfect.
But as I say, I can convert them to Google Maps also.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you. If there's no
Okay, well,
further
thanks for having me.
question or comments, we'll go and conclude this presentation. Now we can go up to business item, action item. Okay, thank you again, Mr. Cooper.
Okay, thank
Thank you, sir.
I will probably leave the meeting here in a few minutes.
Understood. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the ratification. So we're on item number 10, ratification of a letter of support for the grant proposal for Southeastern Utah. They submitted this letter of support to the Economic Development Administration for the Build Back Better Regional Challenge. I don't know if this is kind of a standard. You had received this in an email authorizing signature for it. So it's pretty much just ratification of something that you've already seen. Just supporting.
Mr. Chair?
For approval?
Mr.
Yes,
Bruce Adams?
I'll second the motion that Mary Boy made.
Okay, Mr. Maryboy motion. And
Yes.
second by Mr. Adams. Any question, comment? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye also. Opposed, nay. Motion passed. 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Next.
Okay, the next one on here is consideration and approval of the Blanken Eagle subdivision amendment number 4. Scott.
Yeah, so the first one we've got is the Blanken Eagle subdivision. This is in LaSalle. This takes a 4.4 acre parcel and splits it into 4 acre lots that are each just over an acre. So you can see the plat there on in your packet. This went through Planning Commission, and they approved that last month's meeting.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Adams?
knowing that the Planning Commission has looked at this and reviewed it, and Mr. Burton has recommending we pass it, I'd make a motion that we approve.
Okay. Is there
I
a
will
second?
second that. Second.
Okay. A question. Mr. Burton, why they're breaking up those into 4?
So we allow in the zoning that this is in, a rural residential zone, we allow lot sizes to be, minimum lot size is 1 acre. So it's the property owners, they're basically exercising that ability to lower that from a 4 acre piece to a 1 acre piece, so that they can sell those and provide some housing. LaSalle has become an area where housing is much more affordable, and it's fairly close to the Moab, Spanish Valley area. So we're having a lot of people looking to that area because it's more affordable. So that's what this property owner, I think, I don't know for sure their reasoning, but that's what I would take it. But as far as our zoning goes, it meets the zoning ordinance as far as lot size goes. So.
Okay. Any further question? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye also. Opposed, nay? Motion passed, 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Number 12.
Okay, number 12 is also another subdivision amendment. This one is located in Spanish Valley. It's the Lonesome Left Estates subdivision. This is also amendment number 4. This takes lot 3, the existing lot 3, which is an acre, and reduces that or creates 4 lots that are all a quarter acre in size. This again is done in Spanish Valley, where we revised the zoning to allow quarter acre lots with the water and sewer special service district that supplies that to this area. This was also reviewed by staff and also reviewed and passed at the Planning Commission meeting last month and has before you for your approval.
Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and second. Is there any comment, question? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye also. Opposed, nay? Motion carries, 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Next,
Thank you, Commissioners.
number 13 or 12?
Number 13. Consideration and approval of the U.S. Forest Service draft plan comments. We've got a presentation by Nick.
Okay.
Good morning. Well, as you may remember, the draft forest plan is out for public comment August 25th through October 25th. And you may recall at the September 21st Commission work meeting, I presented draft comments for the Commission's review on the forest plan and stated that these comments would again be presented at a future Commission meeting prior to the October 25th deadline for comments. Now, before you for consideration are 2 letters of comments on the draft plan. One is the letter presented at the September 21 work meeting with comments on specific parts of the draft plan, and the other is a letter of general comments on the draft plan urging the inclusion of a conservation alternative which was developed by conservation organizations. Now, the forest planning process is at the scoping stage with this draft plan out for public comments. Now, the planning process has not yet started for the alternatives development phase, so no alternatives are out for public comment. Alternatives to be used in the EIS will be developed from public scoping comments and comments on the draft plan. The general comments letter does not include any specific comments on the draft plan, and the other letter does have specific comments to parts of the plan. Now, these 2 letters are before you for your consideration and discussion. So I'm open to answer any questions you might have on this. Otherwise, the ball is in your court.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Adams?
I don't have any comments or concerns about this. I think it's well prepared. We heard from some people online that they supported this letter and this action, so I'll make a motion to approve.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Maryboy?
It looks like I'm going to second the motion, so I would like to ask the motioning party to consider the letter that mentioned the climate change and the conservative alternative. I think that would be a good cover for the letter that's going to be submitted. Are you aware of those letters, Mr. McDonald?
So the
I
letter.
think I forwarded you that letter.
So we have that attached. There's actually two letters in the packet, kind of like Nick had discussed, is the one we had presented to you that kind of goes through the entire plan and makes comments to each section. The letter, Commissioner Maryboy, that you provided is a general comment regarding the climate change and the alternative plan, which that conservation alternative, kind of like Nick had mentioned, hasn't been released yet. And so we're trying to figure out how or what you want to do with the two different letters where there are two different approaches. Ours takes and makes comments specific to the plan. This other one is more hypothetical for the alternative side of it.
That's the problem that I'm having here. Well, if that's the case, if that's the letter that we're motioning, then I back down on my second motion.
I've got, Mr. Chair, may I make a suggestion?
Okay, the motion, second, fails. So the main motion exists. Go ahead,
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Maryboy.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to support the letter that I submitted, one that mentions the climate changes and conservations and all these other stuff that's inscribed into the resolution.
Okay.
There is an approach, commissioners, where we can add both of them together. We have our.
I think I may have a solution if you would hear it.
Mr. Sandberg?
If you decide to approve the letter that has the general comments and the urging to use the conservation alternative, you could also attach the specific comments to that letter as an enclosure with the addition of one sentence in the general letter. That way you're covering general comments and your suggestion to include the conservation alternative as well as specific comments on the draft plan, which is basically all that's out for public comment and review at the present. So you would combine both letters. The general letter would be more or less a cover letter. The other comment letter could be reformatted as specific comments to the draft forest plan.
Motion party?
I stand my motion, Mr. Chair, with the letter that I've requested.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Adams?
why is it not possible for the people that wrote the letter and sent it to Maryboy? Why can't they submit that letter to the Forest Service? Why does that have to be part of the comment coming from the county? The county staff didn't write that letter, is my understanding. It's some outside individual that really is not part of county staff. So I'm a little confused about what's going on here.
I believe their public comments were made in reference to those concerns and conservation and also the climate change to be inserted, to be considered. So in that sense, those are absent in these proposed letters.
But isn't the letter coming from the county representative of what the county staff has researched, and the additional letters are from either a person or a group of people who've done their research, and they're allowed to submit those comments to the Forest Service, just like the county can submit a letter based on what the staff has researched?
Yes, they are eligible to submit those, yes. But it's up to the motioning party.
Mr. Chair, we are the commissioners, and Commissioner Adams talking about the staff. We're the one that makes those decisions. So the resolution, the letter that I'm requesting is what I would like to see. And at the same time, a lot of this is concerning the Native Americans in San Juan County as well.
Well, I totally understand what you're saying, Commissioner Maryboy. I don't know who wrote the letter. Do you know who wrote the letter that you gave to submit? Who is that?
I've been working on it with the chapters and also the resolution that's been previously passed by the Navajo Nation Council. And I've been submitting some of those to McDonald. So it is talking about the climate change, and I think that's been brought up many times nationally. And
so the letters are coming from the individual chapters and the Navajo Nation. Is that what you're telling me?
no. Mr. Chair, why is it that it's so hard to take a position? All it needs is a second, and all you could do is deny it or second the motion.
So you're saying I don't have a right to ask questions about it?
Oh, you can.
That's all I'm doing.
I just barely answered it.
Yeah, that's all I'm doing is trying to figure out where the letter is coming from.
Commissioners, there's a motion made by Mr. Kenneth Maryboy. And I was trying to hear for a second, and Mr. Adams asked for the floor. I gave him the floor, and he's discussing it rather than making a motion or whatnot, second the motion. So that's where we are now. So there's
I'm sorry,
there's no
Commissioner
second
Ray,
to the motion.
I'm not going to second something I don't know what we're even talking about.
So I'll go ahead and have Mr. Kenneth Maryboy restate his motion.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I still stand on the motion that I've made, sir.
Rather than considering this letter, you would have another alternative, right?
Yes, the letter that I've submitted. I submitted.
Okay. We'll go ahead and,
So it's your call, boss.
I'll second that motion. If there's
Okay.
no further discussion,
Can I make a substitute motion?
go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the letter that was prepared by Mr. Sandberg, giving comments to the Forest Service on the management plan as stated.
There's a substitute motion. Is there a second to the substitute motion? Call in once, twice, three. I already seconded the motion to the other one. So we have the main motion with a motion and a second. Substitute motion fails with no second. So with those standings, call for the vote.
Aye.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye also. Opposed? Nay?
No.
Okay. Motion carries 2 in favor, 0 1 opposed.
Thanks, Nick. Good try. All right, your next item on the agenda, commissioners, is, let me get there. Consideration and approval of the San Juan Public Health Department fiscal year 2022 preventative block grant contract between the Utah Department of Health and San Juan County. This is Grant. It's not our public health director.
It's good to be here.
Yes.
It's an honor to start here as the new public health director. Good to meet you all. Appreciate the opportunity during the interview process to get to know the board, Commissioner Gray Eyes, Commissioner Adams, Commissioner Mary Boy. Look forward to working with you as well. So here we have a new contract.
Go ahead. Explain the contract.
Oh, I just thought you were going to say something.
No, that wasn't me.
Nope. So basic description is this helps address prioritize public health needs that impact the social determinants of health. Another way to describe that is things that impact health, such as schools, neighborhoods, partnerships with groups that help with food, access to food, business and economic partners as well. So this is something that strengthens either existing partnerships or can help build new partnerships. And this would go from October of this year currently through September 2022, and with possible extension after that. And this is 100% from federal funds, none from state or other funds. And this is the type of funding where, as we spend the money, we are then reimbursed for those, as long as the activities meet the grant requirements, as I basically described.
Do I hear a motion? On number
Motion.
14. Mr. Maryboy?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Thank you. Any further question? Comment? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye also. Opposed by nay? Motion passed, 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Thank you. Next.
Okay, the next one you got item
You got-
15, consideration and approval of the appointment of the new San Juan Public Health Board member. This one here, according to your letter, you have the appointment of Genevieve Mitchell, who was recommended by the Public Health Board to be appointed for, is it a 4-year term? I believe they're a 4-year appointment on there.
So Genevieve Mitchell has been nominated to represent the Aneth Red Mesa area. Marie Holiday also recommended to represent the Monument Valley area. And so just as a quick description of our bylaws that the board follows, there's one person that's to represent the city of Monticello.
I can't hear, Matt.
Oh, I'll wait a second.
It may be your mask. He can't hear you on the microphone.
Oh, there was some background.
Plus, there's a background from.
Here, I'll try again.
Mary
Here.
Boy.
No worries. So, just as quick background, the bylaws for the Board of Health, there needs to be one board member from Monticello, one from Blanding, one from Bluff, and then there are a few seats that are available for people to represent areas such as Navajo Mountain, Monument Valley, Aneth, and Montezuma Creek. And so the board board members had nominated Genevieve Mitchell and had agreed upon that. Marie Holiday was also nominated, but she shared a letter just sent since before it was more recent. I was not able to submit it for public comment, but she declined the nomination. She was not able to. She realized she has other commitments. So, but Genevieve's nomination still stands and did submit her resume. Hopefully did that make it into the packet, Matt?
No, it was too late for the packet, but I
Okay.
did email that to commissioners yesterday.
Okay.
So commissioners, you should have had that in your email.
I can read a brief description. She has been working for the Indian Health Service working on patient communications, helping with enrollment and assessing eligibility for services. Previous to that, she was a senior office specialist for Navajo Nation, overseeing fleet management. And prior to that, a statistical technician with Office of Special Education and Rehabilitation Services in Window Rock. And she's been involved previously as secretary for Klagetoh chapter, but resides in the Montezuma Creek area. So she has references from Rebecca Benally, Kim Henderson, and Akeem Watson as well.
You have number 15, recommendation for appointment. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Adams, motion?
So before I make a motion, question the two names that's going to be on the board. Can you name them again? Tony?
There's only one, Genevieve Mitchell.
Oh, okay.
Marie
Good.
Holiday
I'll
from
second the motion.
Monument Valley declined. So
Okay.
there's only one.
Second.
Okay. Any further question, comments? There be none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye also. Opposed, nay. Motion carries, 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Next.
Thank you, Commissioners. With that, I just want to make sure that we do point out and give just a thank you to Debbie Benali, who is an outgoing board member, as well as Dr. Philip Smith on here for their years of service and dedication to our public health here in San Juan County. It's oftentimes hard to find volunteers to sit on our boards, and so we do appreciate all of the efforts that they had provided to this board in the past.
I understand Dr. Smith would have continued, but he's going on a mission. And he helped other country or I don't know exactly where, but he's going to be on a mission somewhere that's going to detail him for probably a year or 2 years. So.
Thank you. Well said. Well said.
Helping in his
capacity. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, they do. They've done a great job for us. Okay, item number 16, resolution of the San Juan County Board of Commissioners expressing our support for the Mexican Water Chapter within the Navajo Nation of San Juan County and their efforts to obtain and implement 5G and 4G LTE network solutions.
Number 16, do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Maryboy motion to approve. There's second to the motion?
Second.
Okay, any comments, Mr. Maryboy?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. This particular item is just a support to the community of Mexican Water and further down, not to the chapter itself, but along the 191, those that are living here. There's no phone service, as you know, and there's no Wi-Fi or nothing like that. So a group of people, I understand, is working on broadband. So this is just in support to their effort to hopefully they bring that broadband to the communities all the way from Sand Island down to Mexican Water and further along the Utah state line. Thank you.
Okay. There's no further comments or question. Go ahead and call for the question.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Adams?
Mr. Chairman? Yeah, I don't know if the problem is right away across the reservation, but if it is, I hope this will help get the right of way across there.
Exactly what Mr. Adam has mentioned. That is going to be one of the problems going on the reservation. So the support from the county and the chapters and the Navajo Utah Commission, that should be in place by the end of this week, hopefully.
Any further comments or questions? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Aye also. Motion carries 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Next, 17.
Okay, 17 is a resolution of the San Juan County Board of, the resolution supporting the United States Senate Bill S-1535 titled America's Red Rock Wilderness Act and encouraging San Juan County representatives to endorse and pass the bill.
Motion.
Okay. Is there a second to the motion? I will go ahead and second to the motion.
You didn't hear any of those comments?
Down.
Commissioner Grayas, I'd like to make a comment.
Go ahead.
I think we need to keep in mind that the Red Rock Wilderness Bill has been proposed by Senator Durbin for 20 or 25 years. I want to remind Kenneth and Willie that the entire delegation from the state of Utah has always been opposed to this. Our governor, the lieutenant governor, the leadership of the legislature has been opposed to it and remains opposed to it. Senator Romney introduced a bill earlier this year opposed to the Red Rock Wilderness Bill. If San Juan County wants to support this and approve this, they may jeopardize their ability to get help from the legislature, the governor, or the senator on future issues, which absolutely are so much more important than the Red Rock Wilderness Bill. So I will be voting against this proposal and encourage both of the other commissioners to vote against it as well.
Okay, thank you. Now, I'd like to also comment and request. As far as the comments that were made, I believe there's a number of them. Out of the 10 comments that were made, 3 or 4 of them were in reference to opposing Red Rock issue. Now, there was a comment made for one of the gentlemen that is there a possibility that we could table this and provide for a broader comment period? An opportunity for the public to comment on it. Maybe out of those, secondly is the economic impact that will be devastating to the county and all those that have interests in those line of activities. So in that sense, Mr. Maryboy, is there a possibility that we can provide for those types of negotiations? If not, if you say
Mr.
no,
Chairman,
then I will step down. As a second
I will
to the
stand
motion.
my ground.
Yeah, I didn't understand your comment because I was still working on my words when you interject. So, can you restate your motion, your statement?
Mr. Chair, this is in support of what the chapters and also the Navajo Nation has passed. Have resolutions there, and I do believe that Navajo Utah Commission as well. And they feel, our constituents feel that they need to voice their concern at this point in time. So this is how the resolution has come from all 7 chapters to the Navajo Nation Council. And the Navajo Nation Council has passed this resolution. So therefore, I stand my ground, Mr. Chair, to support this particular resolution.
Further, I would like to express that Mr. Adam has indicated that this has been ongoing for 20 years. So, with those types of history that people of this area, I'd like to provide for a more supportive matters or situation between the off-reservation and the on-reservation rather than create a friction. I would like to see those types of situations where everybody across the board will be benefited, particularly in our jurisdiction where we have lack of resources, lack of economic development, and lack of economic development which perpetuates lack of jobs. And the only way that I can see having to have the government, county government function is to tax. And that, I don't feel that that's the right way to do it. So in that sense, by those comments, I'd like to step off the second to the motion. Unless Bruce wants to change his mind.
No, I won't change my mind.
So at this time, the motion fails. I think there's enough justification. Thank you.
Call for the question. I voted yay.
Okay. Call for the question is Mr. Maryboy says yes.
Yes.
And opposing?
There was no seconds.
Well, I vote no,
Well,
but
there's, excuse me.
I don't know why we're voting on the question.
Excuse me, Mr. Adams. I declared a failure of this motion, so there's no need to vote on it unless we vote on the failure.
No need to vote there.
Thank you very much. I was daydreaming somewhere else. With that determination, we go to number 18.
Okay, number 18 is consideration and approval of a letter to Secretary Holland for working to make Bears Ears National Monument whole again. Let me get to that letter.
Yeah, this letter is just an expression of appreciation. But I'd rather see other ways than what it has been done. So, but I'm working on those avenues at this time. So, with that, it's just an expression of appreciation. So that's all there is. No intention of including the whole state so, as a Bears Ears National Monument.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Maryboy.
I'd like to make a motion and maybe a little comment afterward, after 19.
Do I hear a second? I will go ahead and second that. Any comment or question? Call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye also.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries. 2 in favor, 0 opposed. Next. 19th is similar, a letter to President Biden. Same thing, it's just an expression of appreciation.
Mr. Chair.
Motion.
Mr. Adams,
You declared the last vote, 2 in favor and 0 opposed.
oh, excuse me, 1 opposed.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
Mr. Maryboy, motion on the 19th. Is there a second? I will second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
2 in favor, 1 opposed. Motion carries. Next, ratifying Westwater Fiscal Agent Authorization Letter.
Okay, hold on. Let me get back there.
I believe we did send in the letter already, so
Yes, that's correct. This is just
They
a
will-
ratification of that.
yeah. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay. Any question? Comment? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye also. Opposed by nay? 3 in favor, 0 opposed. Motion carries. 21.
21. Sorry. I thought I just heard, oh no. So, I didn't realize. 21. All right. So item number 21 is consideration and approval of $40,000 principal forgiveness agreement for the Westwater infrastructure design with the State of Utah Division of Drinking Water for the Navajo Tribal Utility Authority. Basically, in summary of this is we had to apply for the $40,000 of grant funding with the Division of Drinking Water to act as that physical agent for the Westwater project and NTUA. And so really all we are is just a pass through of the funds. And so I already made the application. We were awarded the $40,000 and this is the mechanism to get it to us. And so it's structured as a loan. It's not a loan. This is kind of as a pass through of funds. It's automatically as we receive the funds, we send it to NTUA or we keep it within our own bank account and allocate as design goes forward. And that'll be the next agreement that will come with an interlocal agreement with NTUA here. Hopefully this next commission meeting we'll have that finalized. But this is just the mechanism, get us the money so that we can send the money back out.
Okay. Is there a motion to the number 21?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Adams, motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any question? There be none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye also. Opposed by nay? Motion passed, or the motion carries 3 in favor, 0 opposed. So with that, concluded our agenda items, except for commissioner reports.
Go ahead, Bruce.
Okay, let's see. We are on Wednesday today, right?
Yes. Tuesday.
Tuesday, I mean. Okay, tomorrow, I'm just wondering, Mac or you or somebody in the staff going to be on the Zoom meeting concerning UAC centrally assessed properties?
No.
I had that on my calendar.
I'm not aware of that one. I can attend it if
Okay. Okay, I will try to attend that meeting on Zoom.
Okay.
There's also a meeting tomorrow on the SEUALG building scoping on the new building with Jones and DeMille. Thursday is an Olene Walker board meeting. Friday is UAC, Utah Association of Counties Public Lands meeting on Zoom. I've agreed to go out on Saturday to LaSalle to the fire department's chili cook-off and help judge that. I'm excited about that. Next Monday is UAC Legislative Policy Committee meeting on Zoom. Then Thursday, the 28th, I have a USIP board meeting in Price. I also have an AOG meeting. I'll have Jerry McNeely attend that for me. And then on Friday, the 29th, is a UTV meeting in Price as well. Other than that, I'm just laying around doing nothing.
Sound like my old donkey. Goes to the ash pile and rolls around. Mr. Maryboy, you have any report?
I don't have a whole lot to report, but it's still out at the chapters. Getting on Navajo Nation every now and then, they're getting kind of rude, I guess. Keep telling them to come out and do certain roads and taking time, and they've been dragging their feet on all the things that they've been supposed to be doing. Getting really frustrating to contact the workers to be out at certain roads. And with us, it was nice to have the counties out there readily to jump on the road, but now we're still having a problem with that. And then other than that, there's not a whole lot happening besides the chapters are trying to refit and doing things with the new officials on board. And I will be attending the other chapters for the chapter meetings again. And basically, I didn't go on the work session or the up in Provo, but it sounds like it was a fun deal. So that would be the extent of my report, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Yeah, my report is doing some work on the Navajo Nation regarding road, also proposed road between Navajo Mountain and Ojeto with a right-of-way, combined joint right-of-way for water, agricultural water delivery system. That's what apparently Council Delegate Mr. Herman Daniels also has been strong supporter for the road connection and the water. So he invited what they call Resource and Development Committee of Navajo Nation to visit the area, Paiute Mesa, just like we did with the back some time ago with the other government agencies. So they're going to be visiting that site on the 26th, which will be Tuesday. I'll be in Window Rock on the 25th, meeting with other counties of like Coconino, Navajo County, Apache County, believe McKinley County might be also included, and also San Juan County up in New Mexico. Representatives, county representative, commissioners, and also Board of Supervisors, meeting with the President of Navajo Nation, Jonathan Ness, and his staff, to give each other an update as to the needs and development of the broadband that's coming through. And I was asking Mr. McDonald to see if we can develop a written update report on our site, San Juan County. I forget the name, some kind of comment or something like that, that is developing or received a grant and that's going through, has gone down as far as Bluff.
Oh, Emory Telecom.
Yeah, yep. Emory. Anyway, from there to Mexican Hat is the question. I don't know if they can.
They've proceeded to the river. So they'll take it to the river. They're working with the Navajo Nation right now to get right-of-way clearance to extend across the bridge into Halchita.
So that will go into Monument Valley and then on to Kayenta.
Yep.
Then follow the 160 up to junction 160, 98, and then it'll turn northwest towards Shanto, Tapikin, Skritchanath, then up north, going north all the way to Navajo Mountain. I see some of the right-of-way has been authorized, I believe.
Awesome.
So overhead, and some of those overhead lines are under construction now. The buried cable, I see the beginning groundwork here and there in sections. So I assume that that's a go all the way to Navajo Mountain, the broadband. When we receive that, there would be a tremendous increase and improvement to our communication system, since we are the most remote Navajo community within the Navajo Nation and also San Juan County and also the state of Utah. So hopefully that will pan out real well, and those have been being updated for a while. I haven't heard anything from Emory organization lately, so I am sort of questioning. But anyway, we should be done hopefully by before next summer. And I went to the Western Interstate Region conference up in Salt Lake City last week, 13, 14, and 15. Received a lot of comments. Went to the governing board meeting where there was a presentation made by BLM, state BLM office, which were in favor of the president's 30 by 30 initiative. Then there's another group that came through that was opposing 30 by 30. And historical information was that these were done some 10 to 15 years in the works by other organizations and reports. So I didn't see any point, but nonetheless, I grabbed about 4 or 5 pamphlets to see what we could see. The main bottom line of those kinds of initiatives to me is to reduce CO2. And as I understand, and most of you probably do understand more than I do, is that fossil fuel is creation of CO2. And this morning yesterday I was listening to a station where they were presenting these types of action where they are looking at CO2 production. You know, in oil fields, they have this excessive products and they want to burn that. They don't want to release it. And they just burn it through a pipeline up there in the air. Flares come up. And that is largely a creation of CO2. And I also learned that the Native American opposition to oil and gas development, pipelines, and they said, Dennis, I believe his last name is Goldtooth. His report and analysis is that these pipelines that were proposed and has been stopped through the Native American initiative and gatherings will create a reduction, significant reduction in CO2 for years to come. And I learned that if these CO2 is being created, there's a product of that is a health hazard. Not only to environmental, but to human being, scientifically studied. If you're exposed to these flares and they directly impact you. A lifetime, you will have some complications. So those were the interests, information, while we're being, as the two of us, Native American, has been accused, stopping all the oil proposed drilling, lack of funds to the county. Well, on the other side, on the other good side, is protection of the health. So, if you live, that's life. I guess you gamble. So James Garner is the gambler. So that will be my report. But on the other hand, we're also have some. I have some schedule going on tomorrow. Today, we have a Utah Navajo Revitalization Fund Board at 2 o'clock. And then I'm going down to Dr. Mr. Grant, Dr. Sampson, to talk about the health of service problems that we see both across the river and on the site. So I'd like to see more of data, statistics generated as for community education, at the forefront rather than having to have people receive way too late. So in that sense, I have also been elected to the local community school board. So I have 2 meetings on that. That's tomorrow and also on Friday. I have another organization that's a nonprofit organization, which is Non Development Association, working with a scope of work that has been broadened to include certain projects. And I'm looking at some of these as to see if we can, I can do some groundwork to put a proposal together, because to submit to those federal fundings that are being proposed for distribution sometime in the future. So that will be my report, and people think I'm just kicking back somewhere, but my days, for the most part, this month has been very busy. So I believe St. George is on the list again next. Yes, it is. So never, the world keeps turning, as the movie says, or the television. So some time ago, still going. Thank you. With that information, I hope there's no question. With that, go to the next item on the agenda.
All we need is a motion to adjourn. Looks like it's only you and Commissioner Maryboy.
We will go ahead and, well, since we exhausted the agenda, I'll go ahead and declare adjournment as chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much for sitting with us this long.